The Boat. That's the new Chargers name for the practice facility they built, which was built in 2024, the same year Jim Harbaugh was hired by the Chargers. The Boat equals 107. The location is in El Segundo, California. El Segundo, California equals 107. Remember, this is the NFL 107th season that starts in 2026 and ends in 2027 on the 45th day of the year during Super Bowl 61. Now, we all know Jim Harbaugh to be the coach that has coached all California teams, starting off in San Diego, then going up to Stanford, then going to San Francisco. Now he's in LA with the Chargers. And he's widely known for being the coach that can bring teams to their highest points. Well, 32 days after his 60th birthday, he was hired by the Chargers. 131 is the 32nd prime number. Championship equals 131. Super Bowl equals 131. 61 equals 131. Even Justin Patrick Herbert equals 131, which is a quarterback for the Chargers. 32 weeks after he was hired by the Chargers, he coached his first game with the Chargers in SoFi Stadium on 8/9, September 8th. Los Angeles, California equals 89. That game was versus the Las Vegas Raiders, which equals 61. The date numerology for that day was 61. That game ended with 32 total points. And that game was a span of 107 days before Jim Harbaugh's 61st birthday. Super Bowl 61 will be in LA in SoFi Stadium where this game happened. And it will be 32 years since the Chargers last went to the Super Bowl, which was in Super Bowl 29. Jim Harbaugh was hired by the Chargers 47 weeks before his 61st birthday. Chargers equals 47. Trump equals 47. President equals 47. Trump is the 47th president, and Super Bowl 61 is one day prior to President's Day. Trump turned 80 61 days before the Chargers' establishment day. Los Angeles Chargers equals 80. As of now, Jim Harbaugh is the only coach to meet Trump randomly in 2025 on 10/7, which was July 10th, 83 weeks before Super Bowl 61. Football equals 83. Justin Herbert equals 83. If Jim Harbaugh wins 12 games, well, regardless, potentially, Jim Harbaugh has a potential of winning 83 games in his career this year. And that will happen if he wins 12-plus games. Now, remember when I said he coached all California teams. California emblem is a bear. Jim Harbaugh was drafted in 1987 to the Chicago Bears as a 26th overall pick. And there's a potential that he can go to the Super Bowl and win that 87th win as a coach. Now, let's think back to when the Chargers opened the season in Brazil. Brazil equals 32 versus the Chiefs. Chiefs equals 32. And the Chargers and Chiefs 131st meeting. 131 is the 32nd prime number. That game resembled somewhat how the Super Bowl looks, with both teams having their emblems on each of the other touchdowns. But in actuality, it was supposed to be a Chargers home game. But the Chiefs had their symbol in their end zone. Chargers had their symbol in their end zone. Somewhat like how the Super Bowl looks. This season will be the Chargers' 67th season as a franchise. Jim Harbaugh can start this season winning his 67th regular season game as a coach. That game is going to be versus the only other team than the Bears that's in their 107th NFL season. The Cardinals and the Bears are the only two teams that's 107 years old. And that game will be versus the Cardinals. Jim Harbaugh will turn 63 53 days before Super Bowl 61 that's in Los Angeles. Los Angeles equals 53. Jim Harbaugh equals 53. Jim Harbaugh was born in 1963. 1963 is the only time in history the Chargers have won a championship in their franchise. In that championship, it was a total of 61 total points. Jim Harbaugh just so happened to be born that year. And now he's 63 years old and could potentially be coaching in Super Bowl 61 on 63 date numerology. 53 is a 16 prime number, and it's a potential the Chargers can get their 16th all-time playoff win in the Super Bowl. And that'll be 53 days after Jim Harbaugh turns 63 years old. It is something to mention that in 2023, the Chargers played the Lions. Detroit Lions equals 61. That game was the 61st game inside SoFi Stadium since it's been open. That game ended with 79 total points. Chargers equals 79. Chargers fell to 4-5, like how the Super Bowl 61 is on the 45th day of the year. Dan Campbell equals 61. And it also equals 214, like the date of the Super Bowl, February 14th. So, I looked up and seen the Chargers played the Lions in the Hall of Fame game. That game ended with 41 total points. Super Bowl equals 41. That game was in Canton, Ohio. Ohio equals 61. The game was at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium equals 283. 283 is the 61st prime number. The Hall of Fame game was 47 days after Trump turned 79 years old. Like I said, Chargers equals 47 and also 79. Trump equals 47. He's the 47th president. Ohio equals 47 and 61. That game ended 80 weeks before Super Bowl 61. While Trump is going to be 80 years old during that Super Bowl. Los Angeles Chargers equals 80. It also was 18 months before Super Bowl 61. 61 is the 18th prime number. This video is just to show you guys how synced they got it with Jim Harbaugh. And it seems perfect that he could have the potential of going to the Super Bowl and finally winning that championship. He's been old. The Chargers are a dark horse. Nobody believes that they can do it further than the playoffs. Nobody believes Justin Herbert could do it further than the playoffs. And history shows Jim Harbaugh hasn't got it done in the biggest game of his career. So he hasn't been able to go further in the playoffs. But the reason may be because they've been waiting for this exact moment. The Chargers franchise been waiting for that person, that coach, that quarterback that has the right numbers. And that's why they haven't been successful all this time. It's because their numbers weren't going to show up until this time in history. Hence why they had Dan Fouts, an Oregon quarterback, who went to the Chargers, who had the highest of highs in his career in the 1980s. Couldn't go further than a big moment. But they redid that with Justin Herbert as a new, improved version that went to Oregon and went to the Chargers and could potentially play in the Super Bowl on Oregon Establishment Day and Valentine's Day. After him and his girlfriend dropped a music video named Lover Girl on 5/7, when the Chargers are going to be in their 57th NFL season. And that video dropped 283 days before Super Bowl 61 on Valentine's Day. And 283 is the 61st prime number. While Justin Herbert's name equals 61. While he was drafted in the Chargers' 61st season as a franchise. And now, at this time, the Spanos family only owns 61% of the Chargers. And during that 61st season, Justin Herbert getting his first win in SoFi Stadium on 75 date numerology, on the day that leaves 67 days left in the year, and this being the 67th season. And Justin Herbert could potentially take the Chargers to their second Super Bowl appearance 75 months after he got his first win in SoFi Stadium, like how the Chargers only went to the Super Bowl during the 75th season of the NFL. Herbert's first playoff game ended with 61 total points, losing a 27-point lead 213 weeks before Super Bowl 61. LA is a 213 area code. That was during the Chargers' 63rd season. Remember, Super Bowl 61 is on the 63 date numerology, while Jim Harbaugh is 63 years old. Born in 1963, the same year the Chargers only won one championship in their franchise, with both teams having 61 total points in that game. Remember, Justin Herbert could potentially get his 61st win this season, and also he's going to be playing in his 107th career game and also his regular season game. Billy Ray Smith Jr., a Chargers legend, a guy that played for the Chargers for a long tenured amount of time and was also a sports media guy after his career in the NFL. He wore the number 54, and he was a linebacker. He passed away a span of 201 days before Super Bowl 61. He was born in 1961. His full name, Billy Ray Smith Jr., equals 201 and 75. Just a drop in the bucket for the Chargers. For them getting rid of this guy right here, sadly, before the season started. Perfectly adding up to the amount of days that the Super Bowl is going to be here.